Have you ever been around someone that complains all the time? I'm talking about every time you're around them, they're complaining about something going wrong in their life. It's like they don't understand that setbacks will always come your way. I mean, no matter how good of a person you are, how bad of a person you are, how religious of a person you are, how non-religious of a person you are, bad things will always come your way. Setbacks are gonna come your way. And your life will be determined by how you deal with the setbacks, how you deal with the adversity. The adversity will always show on the successful people and the non-successful people. When you see some of the most successful people in the world, some of the most famous people in the world, and you look at them and you say, so many people say, I wish I had their life. But this the catch. This the thing the question I always have for everyone. What about the setback that they had when they was younger? What about the setback that they had that led to their success? Do you want that also? Are you willing to accept that as well? Because every single person that you know or you've ever met has had a setback. You might can find a best friend of yours, or you might know a woman of yours, or you might know a man of yours, and you might look at them and say, they're so calm, cool, collected. They seem like they don't have a care in the world. They seem like everything has been smooth for them. But you don't know what adversity that they had to face. Because we all have to face adversity. And then you can be around someone, all they do is complain and whine about every little thing that happens to them. And they'll complain about their life, not knowing that the person that you look up to has had just as many issues that you've had, if not more. They've had just as many issues that you've had, if not more. But you're sitting watching them from the sideline. You ever see, like you can go to a game, right? A sporting event. And you can watch a player that play basketball score 30. And from the sideline, you say, man, that looks so easy. But you don't see the picks. You don't see people elbowing him in the stomach when he go through the lane. You don't see the call that the ref don't make. You don't see the coach screaming at him, yelling at him. You don't see the practices that he's gone through. You don't see the weights that he lifts. You don't see how he's only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep. You don't see how as soon as the game over with, he's back on a flight going to another city. You don't see that he has to play on Christmas Day. He has to play on New Year's Day. He has to play on his birthday. You don't see those things. You're not paying attention to those things. But you say you want their life. Because you don't want to see the setbacks that come their way. The allegations of things that's false that happens to them only because they're successful. You don't want to see that. All you want to see is the success story. That's all you want to see. But if you talk to that person long enough, have a conversation with them, they're going to tell you, I've had setbacks. And the most successful people have the most positive mindset when it comes to dealing in this world. You'll never hear them say that they can't make it. You'll never hear them say that they can't succeed. You'll never hear them say that they can't win. You can find a woman, right? Just a woman that can be married 20 years. And you ask them when they're younger, you know what they usually will say to you? Is that, I knew I was a wife. I knew it could happen. It's just a matter of time. You can have a man that can go through a divorce, that he can get married, and that second marriage can last forever. And that man will tell you, I knew that once I found the right woman, it was going to work out. You can have someone that starts a business, start 5 businesses. 5 businesses fail. The 6th one, he become a millionaire. And if you ask that man, he'll tell you, did I ever have doubt? I had some doubt. But I always knew deep down inside I was going to find a way to win. The problem with most people is they don't have that inside that they can pull out of them. Let me change that. It's inside of them. They choose not to pull it out of them. So you know what they do? They focus on their circumstances. They focus on the problems in their life. They don't focus on who they can become. They think where they are right now is who they are. But where you are right now is a lesson. That's all it is. It's a lesson. When I first decided to become a barber, I struggled big time dealing with customers, dealing with people. I struggled big time even cutting hair. But you know what I had to do? I had to fight. I had to dig deep down inside in order to find a way to win. It was extremely tough. It was extremely hard. But I kept going. I had setbacks left and right. I kept growing. I kept grinding. I kept climbing. I didn't stop. I didn't let me being a bad barber at that point in time when I first started define me. I knew there was a great barber deep down inside of me. But I knew I had to fight to get that person out. I had to study. I had to focus. I had to keep going. I had to do whatever I had to do to win and not quit. Most people, when they face any form of adversity, they feel like they're a loser. You're not a loser. You're just losing at the moment. Think about this for a second. When you watch football, right, and you see a Super Bowl champion, right? When you usually see a Super Bowl champion, every Super Bowl champion usually go through a tough stretch. Usually, when they lose some games, the team might argue, and they're getting things together. They're facing an adversity. And what usually happens by the time playoffs come, because when you get in a playoff game, some adversity is going to come your way. That team, they're cool when the adversity comes. And they get through the adversity and they find a way to win the championship. But you know what usually happens every year in sports? There's a team that has a great record. They win most of their games. They face no adversity. And I'm the first person that always say that team won't win the championship. And people, they'll argue with me. Nah, man, this team, they're unbeatable. And I always say they won't win. They didn't really face any true adversity. And what usually happens in a playoff game, they finally face some adversity. And you know what happened? They lose. You know why? Because they wasn't prepared to fight when things don't go the way they wanted to go. Let me explain something to you. When I was younger, I was a teenager. I felt alone. I felt like I had no one that I can depend on. I felt like I had to find a way to win. When I was a young adult, 17, 18 years old, I didn't have a vehicle at that very point in time. I got one a little bit past 18, like 18 and a half, somewhere around there when I had my license with driving. I had to walk to get home. I had to find a way to get home. And you know what happened during that time frame? During that time frame, it taught me resilience. It taught me how to fight. It taught me how to find a way to win. So now, the man I am at 40, pretty much whatever you put in front of me, I'm going to find a way to win. Because I faced so much adversity throughout my life. That's why most people, they'll be like, man, you're using the positive mood. We usually see you the same. We usually don't see you walk around, wake up in a bad mood, you upset. Because most of what come my way, I face that adversity. Setbacks come my way. In 2000, this is 2024. In 2023, I left a job I was at for 15 years. That was a setback. That was a setback. But you know what? What I learned from that situation? First thing I learned is that I wasn't managing my money well enough. Because I made the amount of money I was making, I could have done a way better job than I did. But now that I make less, I'm more focused on that. What else I learned is, through that adversity, through this setback, I have to put more into being a barber than my job. And the job that I was at, so much of my energy was poured into that job where I couldn't pour into my gift. Every setback you go through, you have two options: to learn or to blame. Most people spend their entire life blaming, down on themselves, talking about what I should have done. It's already done. Whatever excuse you're going to come up with what you should have done differently, is done. So what's next? What do we do now? See, winners focus on solutions. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on the problems. That's why when you use it, if you're watching a sporting event and you find the losing teams, they're usually going to be the ones that focus on the problems. They argue the most, right? The winning teams, right, they're going to argue some, but then they're going to say, okay, what's the solution? What's the solution to the problem? Let's find a way to win this thing. You have people, right, that go through a divorce. You got two options while going through a divorce. Let's say I'm speaking toward a man. Speaking to men for a moment. You rather get mad because you got a divorce with your wife and hate women, or you can learn to make better decisions with women. You might had a poor choice when it came to budgeting while you was married. But going through the divorce, you should say, hey, in the next situation I'm in, I won't make that same decision. You should learn from that. You should grow from that. That's one of the reasons why people that struggle with having setbacks, I don't like being around them. I don't. Because I'm a person that focuses on solutions. I focus on solving problems. So if you're a person that just want to complain all day, I'm like, man, get away from me. I don't want to be around you. I don't care who you are. I don't want to be around you if you're going to focus on problems all the time. But we ain't going to focus on, okay, there's a problem, right? Cool. What do I need to do to solve the problem? And let's solve it. People have injuries. Injuries on the job. Right? That's a setback. What do you do while going through the injury? Do you rehab? Do you rehabilitate yourself? Do you do a little bit more? If you're overweight, do you start to lose some weight? Or do you just sit there in pity, upset, crying, complaining? You have people that have unexpected children that come into this world. Child comes here. What do we do now? See, winners, we find a way to win. We win no matter what environment we in. We find a way to win. We don't sit there and just complain all the time. I was having a conversation with someone, and they was talking about depression. They was talking about feeling bad toward themselves. And I didn't understand that. I didn't. And it's amazing to me because in my life, and I understand that depression is real. But me personally, I don't understand it. Because in my life, I find a way to win. I focus more on solutions than I focus on problems. I focus more on solutions than I focus on problems. And when you're around a person that focus on problems, they focus on their problems, they focus on your problems, they focus on this person's problem, they focus on everyone else's problems. And you can ask them one simple question. What's the solution? They have none. And you like, all the time you focusing on my problem, his problem, her problem, but you never have a solution. I hear people talk all the time in the black community. They had this speech in the black community about the problems in the black community. Problems and problems and problems. And my question is, okay, what's the solution? Because me, I don't want to talk about problems. I don't want to sit there and we're just going to talk about problems and never talk about solution. It's cool to talk about problems if you have a solution to the problem. But just to talk about a problem, man, I don't have time for that. I don't. I'm trying to progress and win in this world. And I'm going to win whatever way I got to win. I'm going to find a way to win that's ethical. I'm still going to be a man of morals and principles and values. I'm not going to cheat someone to win, but I'm going to find a way to win. And if I got losers around me, I get the losers away from me because I'm going to find a way to win. And people that surround me, they have no choice but to become a winner. The people I'm around, we don't complain about what happened to us in this world. We fight, and we find a way to win. Because we understand that setbacks are going to happen. Life is going to throw lemons at you, but you got to make lemonade out of it. You have people say, well, my mom and dad treated me bad. But you got other people that grew up without parents, without a mom and dad. You have some people that'll say, well, I grew up in the hood, right? But then you have other people that'll say, I grew up in a mansion, but my people didn't have the love that your parents had for you. See, you got people that grow up in the projects, but their mom and dad is there with them. They have so much love because they have to pull themselves together. They have to work together. They have to. That's the craziest thing about this world. So the person that's in the hood can say, I don't have the money, right? But they got the love of the family unit because they got to stick together. Then you have the other people that have the wealth, but they don't have the family unit. They don't work together. So there's always some kind of a setback. There's always some kind of an issue. There's always some kind of a problem. But guess what happens? You find a way to win. You ever see and pay attention to people that when you watch their life, right, every year they get a little bit better. Every year they get a little bit better. Things get a little bit better for them. Things get a little bit better for them. And you see others, they're in the same state that they was in 2-3 years, or their life go backwards. Their life go backwards. And when their life go backwards, right, that's a setback. Now, they can learn from that and grow. But you know what they're going to do? Keep complaining, keep sitting in pity, keep being depressed. So guess what happened? The life will keep going backwards. It'll keep going backwards. It'll keep going backwards. Because they can never get to the point to understand that setbacks are happening to everyone. Setbacks happen to everyone. Problems happen to everyone. There's no one that's successful that didn't have a setback. No one. You can use Michael Jordan. He won 3 championships in a row. And what happened? Dad died. Gambling problems. Left the NBA for a year and came back a year and a half later. Guess what he did? The year after that, won 3 more championships in a row. Why? He faced the setback, and because he's a winner, he found a way to win. Tom Brady. Tom Brady went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. 10 years. Came back and still won 7. People forget that 10 years that he didn't win, though. Setback. Patrick Mahomes played in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years ago. They got beat down by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The next year, you blow a lead in the AFC Championship game. That's 2 years in a row you had a setback. Then your best receiver leave the team, get traded to the Dolphins, and then next year he win the championship. The team wins the championship. Huge setback. Every winner you know had a setback. The only difference between winners and losers is when a loser has a setback, they quit. When a winner has a setback, they fight, and they find a way to win. It's your only difference. There's no other difference between the two. There's no other difference between the two. You can have a man go bankrupt. 10 years later become a millionaire. Why? He didn't let the bankruptcy define him. You can have a woman that can have a child from the wrong man. But because she didn't let that define her, guess what happened? She became an amazing wife, an amazing mother, and became a successful business owner. Because she didn't let that situation define her. You can have a man that can get put on child support. And he could have been doing everything for his kid. But because he didn't let that situation define him, he can become successfully married and have a successful business or have a successful job. Because it's okay to have a job in this day and age. For some reason, people think that's a problem. It's okay to have a job. It's okay to be successfully on a job and make a lot of money. Because some of your most wealthiest people in this world have a job. It's okay to have a setback. The problem is people let setbacks define them. Setbacks are nothing but a detour to your success. If you're driving on a street, if you're driving on a highway, and they say this road is blocked off going this way, you got to make 3 turns to get back on the other side of the interstate to keep going to your destination. Does it matter that you didn't get the straight path to your destination? Did it matter? Did it matter that it took you an extra 10 minutes to get where you were trying to go? You don't care. All you care about is that you made it to the destination. So if you had a goal to be a successful business owner at 30, but you became it at 40, what's the problem? It was a detour. You still won. If you want to be successfully married at 30, but it took you till 40 to become successfully married, you won. Find a way to win. That's what winners do. And you see this in sports. You see it in life, but you fail to accept it. We've been seeing, how many Super Bowl we've seen Tom Brady team down. He brought him right back down the field and found the way to win. Russell Wilson, the year that 2014, if I'm mistaken, when they lost to the Patriots, the game before the Patriot game, he threw 5 interceptions in that game. And the same quarterback threw the game-winning touchdown pass with 5 interceptions. He found a way to win. That was a setback in the game. But you so focused on your setbacks that you can't find a way to win. And your championship right there in front of you. Your business is right there in front of you. Your marriage is right there in front of you. Your children are right there in front of you. All you gotta do is keep your eye on the prize. Start focusing on what's not happening. Learn from what didn't happen right. I'm not telling you to forget it. No, learn from what happened that wasn't done right. Adapt and move on. You gotta be able to move on. You gotta be able to move on. You got 2 options: to be discouraged or to be grateful to learn. When your setback comes, are you willing to learn? Or are you going to just be discouraged? Are you going to focus on where you're at, or are you going to focus on where you're going? Because most people focus on where they're at instead of where they're going. If you focus on where you're going, there's no time to have pity for yourself. There's no time to be depressed. There's no time to worry because you're focused on where you're going. But we get so focused on me, where I'm at, woe is me, instead of focusing on where I'm going. No matter what happens to you in your life, you got to find a way to win if you're going to be a winner. Because bad things will always come your way. I don't make the rules. You can be a perfect wife and still man can cheat on you. You could be a perfect wife, man can abuse, man can misuse. You could be a perfect husband, wife can still cheat. Wife can still abuse. Wife can still underappreciate you. It's life. We human. No matter what you want to think, how you want to feel, life's still gonna come your way. Now, if you treat people well, the less the problem's gonna come your way. It don't mean no problem's gonna come your way. It means less problems will come your way. If you're a wife that decides to treat your husband well and get the right guy, it's a less chance that he will mess over you. If you're a man that pick the right woman, it's a less chance that that'll happen to you. If you're a man and you pick a safe stock, a S&P 500 stock, it's a less chance that you'll lose money. Doesn't mean that you won't lose money. It's a less chance. So your decisions can decide the risk that you take. But problems still will come. So what I choose to do in my life is to be honest with people. It's to have integrity, to have character, to be disciplined. Why? Because I want as little amount of problems as possible. Because I know problems going to come regardless. So the entire purpose of this message is to get so many people to understand that setbacks, the way that you deal with setbacks will determine your life. The way you deal with setbacks will determine if you win or if you lose. So my question to you is, what's going to be your decision when the setback comes? My name is Sidney Combs, and I'm a young entrepreneur from Shreveport, Louisiana with $1 and a dream. I appreciate everyone for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. I'm out.